713番金庫から持ってきた汚い小さな包みが今どこにあるのか。ハリーにはそれが分かったような気がした。よし!
Do you know what this is? This is the first Japanese book that I have ever read. And you just saw me there completing it. I was reading it rather slowly, only because I was saying it out loud, because I'm much better at reading than saying things out loud. But yeah. So this is the first Harry Potter book. That's what I chose as my first book, which definitely was a mistake, seeing as it was quite difficult, and I probably could have found something easier, but oh well. You might note how this is actually one eye, meaning that they actually split this book up into two because Japan loves its small novels. So technically, I only read the first half of it, but I still count it because I read something cover to cover. And hey, if you split the Harry Potter book in half, it's still the same word length as like the Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I count it. So this has been a long time coming. It's been about 4.5 years since I started studying Japanese, and I actually bought this book way back in November of 2015. So it's taken a little while, like almost 3 years to, well, more than 3 years to read it. But yeah, I've had some attempts in the past. You know, I would like open it now and again and be like, yeah, let's be trying to read the first page. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. Nope. And my first big attempt was back in 2017, and I actually have evidence. So I was trying to go through it, and I got through about the first 2.5 chapters. And as I was doing it, I was trying to like write down words that I knew, or rather, like the readings of words, as you can see here. Like, I didn't even know what the word manto meant, which by the way means cloak. So yeah, that was my first attempt. You can see the last time this was edited in March 2017. The challenge you have with reading a novel in Japanese is that it doesn't have the readings for most of the kanji characters, so it's difficult to know how to actually say the words. Like, I may know the meaning, but not the reading, if you catch my drift. Now this is more of my speed. What I've been doing all these years for reading has been manga. I've actually read 70 manga up to this point, so I'm pretty familiar. And they're a lot nicer in terms of being easy to read, because, you know, pictures and stuff like that. Books are kind of like the holy grail in terms of language learning, because, you know, trying to read this, I swear, compared to the fun I have with manga, I was probably like learning Japanese like 3 times as fast. And that's just due to the fact that it just keeps pounding you with, like, it's like constantly a trivia test on all these sorts of things that I've been learning in Japanese. You know, it's actually quite poetic that Harry Potter was the first book that I read in Japanese, because in reality, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first novel that I read in English. So, like, back in 2002, when I was either 6 or 7, is when I went and decided to read Harry Potter, the first book. Now, the main reason for this was, like, you know, me and my sister, we liked the movie, and my sister especially liked the books, and she was reading them, and it's like, oh, Drew, you should read this. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can read things. And so I started. Thing is, though, that I was not ready. You see, being, 6 or 7, Harry Potter was a bit difficult for me. When I started reading it, it was like, I can't really do this. My sister would check in on me every now and again, like reading. It's like, oh yeah, I'm totally doing that. And I was, but it felt like a lie because I was barely hanging on. The only reason I could get through it was because I already knew what happened in the movie. So that was like the saving grace of why I was able to continue to go through it. And I'm sure I got better as I went through the book, because that's exactly what happened here. See, I got so much better at reading this by reading it. Like by the end, I'd say I got to like 80% comprehension, roughly. And that was definitely helped by, actually knowing the story already. But it was probably up like 10 or 15 points from when I first started. So you really feel the power of learning language with a book. But yeah, I really feel a kinship with 6 or 7 year old me from 17 years ago, reading Harry Potter during daycare nap time as they do. And we're both struggling. We're just barely getting along, only because we freaking saw the movie before that we have any idea what's going on. We just phase in and out of understanding. Of course, naturally, he's at a bit more of an advantage, having a native level of English. Meanwhile, I don't. But, I also had a dictionary with me, and also just a more general world knowledge and actually understanding stuff that was going on. Like, I remember I was, like, reading back in daycare, I'm like, what's all this about Mr. Dursley is going to work and doing work things? I don't know what any of that is. I'm only 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, so in the end, it took me about 6 months to get through this book, which means I was right on pace with younger me in reading the English, because, every Harry Potter book took me about a year to read, so right on pace, because this is half the Harry Potter book. So I guess the way forward from here is obviously to read more books. Part of the reason this took so long is that I was like reading manga in between each chapter, but hopefully I'll not do that as much and continue just to get faster and get better at reading, and in the future not choose such difficult books that are way beyond what I should be going for. Something that I can actually understand like more than 80% of. That'd probably be good. But yeah, that is what happens in life.